Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Maria and this is my mom.
Hello.
This is one of the first times that you're actually being shown on the channel. Like there's been little snippets of you.
Yeah,
but
I've avoided it.
Yeah.
As much as I could.
She's avoided the camera as much as possible, but today she's willing to be on camera.
I am.
So we're going to be doing something I have kind of done before.
Okay.
But it's more of like, since you're with me, it's going to be different. She's going to be asking me questions about like different things that I've experienced as I've been getting older, because I'm now 18. When I started the channel, I was 15 years old. So a lot of different things have happened. So she's just going to do like a little Q&A thing. And if you guys have any questions of any kind, whether it's connected to these or just in general, you can leave them in the comments.
As we kind of start the interview, I wanted to know, who would you say was your first best friend? And what made you love them so much?
So in a weird way, like some people would say like, oh, my first best friend was like in preschool or kindergarten or something like that. No, I've said this several times on this channel and on my other channel before. My very first best friend was an adult, and he was in like his early 30s. His name was Kyle, and I considered him my best friend because not just like, oh, we hung out all the time and he was like so great with like connecting with me and bonding with me kind of thing, but it was also just like the way he helped instruct me when it came to like teaching me things about the Bible. He was my preschool, he was my Sunday school teacher. So that was one of the first ways I met him. And I was close with his daughter. And as I got to know his daughter a bit more, I got to know him. And he became like another father figure. So as time went on, if I felt like I was too scared to tell you or dad something, I went to him. And he would be like, okay, I'm not going to tell your mom and dad about this, but I am interested. Like, why do you feel this way? And so forth and everything. But he just really showed that he cared about me. And it wasn't like a teacher trying to help a student. It wasn't like a parent trying to instruct their child. It really just felt like a friend. Like he was just there to be a friend. So I loved him so much because of that. Like he wasn't always in teacher mode. He wasn't always in parent mode. He was just there for me. And that's what I valued most about him. And that's why I loved him so much.
That's a great story. Kyle was really awesome. Now, for someone who is looking for someone their own age, what or who would you say was your first best friend that was closer to your age?
That's kind of hard because like there were 3 people at the same exact time, but I had different relationships with all of them. So one of them, I'll actually say her name. Her name was Nia. So, and the reason why it was her first is because like I talked with a few other girls at different times, but when I first like got my own like device and it was an iPad, she was my very first person that I'm like, I want to get your contact. And like we would text each other through my iPad. When we had events at youth group, she was always my partner. So it was her first, and then it swapped to another girl named Kalia. And her and I, from that point, still being friends with Nia, like I didn't push Nia to the side or anything, but me and Kalia always hung out like at least once or twice a week. And then she kind of became my new Kyle in a weird way. So she was technically my go-to, but Nia was the first one.
And then you said there was a third one.
Yes, Natanya. And her, I still consider like she was one of my best friends as well. And I met her when I was 14. No, I was 12. But the reason why I'm like iffy about calling her a best friend is because it only lasted a few months.
Okay.
So, long story short, she came to our church with her family and we clicked immediately with her family. Like they were amazing. They were godly people. They were so sweet. And the more I got to know her, the more her and I kind of had more of a sister relationship. But then I think a few days after I had my birthday party, she came to youth group and told me that she was leaving, like she was moving. And she had just come to the church like 4, 5, 6 months before. So I'm like, wait, you're only here for 6 months and you're leaving? And I got frustrated with that. And after that, her and I hung out once at her new apartment. And then her and I didn't see each other for another 3 years. And then even when I saw her again, it wasn't enough time to catch up. So like I wanted to consider her my best friend, but I really couldn't, because by the time I had built a relationship with her, it ended.
As you got older, what were challenges that you faced in your friendships?
How can I word this without sounding like a hypocrite? I was probably a hypocrite with some of the things that I did in my friendships, but I was a different person for each friend, but not because I was like trying to show like, oh, I'm really cool with this person and I want attention from this person. It was like each person needs a specific kind of friend, and because no one else was being that friend for that person, I would be that. So for example, with Nia, she's very competitive. So whenever I'm hanging out with her, I'm like, all right, what are we doing? How are we doing it? And who's team captain, like kind of thing. And her and I would like always be competitive, always challenge each other, just have fun. With Kalia, she was more introverted than Nia. So I couldn't go about with that same like intention that I would have with her, have with Nia. I had to be like more patient. I had to be more like, okay, what would you like to do? Okay, when would you like to do it? Can we plan a day? And let's figure it all out. It wasn't just go, 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 go. It was plan things out. So that's a simpler example. And I think the reason why that was such a struggle is because if two of my friends like had a conflict with each other and they pulled me into it, it was like, all right, let's see whose friend Maria is going to be now. But then I'm like, this has nothing to do with me. Like, I don't like that you two are arguing with each other. But
did your friendships have a lot of drama?
Yes.
And I'm not just saying with Nia and Natanya and Kalia. Like,
no.
Friendships, period. Like, did you find that there was a lot of drama going on?
Yeah. So during this time that I'm about to explain, we had a friend group of 11 people. One of them, unfortunately, had passed away at 12 years old. And then his brother moved to Arkansas shortly after that. So the two of them were no longer part of the friend group after that. One person who I did have feelings for started having a bit of like aggressive behaviors towards the other boys in the friend group besides my brother. And that messed up the boys. And then with the girls, we were all really cool with each other, but as soon as the boy that I liked came in, they just didn't know how to act because...
So would you say that romance started to mess things up? Because it sounded like you guys became friends when, you know, when that wasn't like a big thing.
Yeah.
But then, so would you say that romance and relationships and crushes and wanting to date, like that was one of the things that started to mess up the relationships?
Unfortunately, yes. And I will say, me and the guy that I liked played a big part in it. I'll admit that. But it wasn't just us. I'm not going to say who it was because I don't know who exactly is watching this. But there were 4 other people in that friend group who had liked each other. And it had messed up the friend group too.
Can a girl and a guy be best friends?
Yes, if you do it properly. And that was the problem.
How did you do it properly? And how did you mess up?
Okay, so I'm going to rewind to the person I was talking about before. The guy who moved to Arkansas, his name is Aiden. He and I had a weird friendship in the very beginning.
Hi, Aiden. How are you?
Hi, Aiden. Had a very weird friendship in the very beginning. Not going to go too much into detail, but it was pretty awkward, mainly on me. But by the time he and I started to like get to know each other a bit more, and started to talk a bit more, he and I had a friendship first. Started working on that friendship, became really good friends, and then got to a point where we were like brother and sister. And we kept that consistent with like making sure that there were boundaries involved, making sure that like we were respecting the other person's like space and time when they were with other people. So anytime I really wanted to talk to Aiden, but he was talking to my brother Bubba, I'm like, okay, let them do their thing. I'll go talk with Kalia and Nia. And like when I see that he's done and when they leave, I'll talk to him. But how I did it wrong was because, and I'll use the guy that I liked, for example, we also had become good friends, but because that there were feelings involved, it didn't matter if I had like something against another person or if he had something against another person. We both felt pressured to be on each other's side, even if we were wrong. We were in the wrong.
Okay.
And that was something me and Aiden never struggled with. Like, if Aiden did something wrong, I called him out on it, no matter who was on his side or what. And if I did something wrong, Aiden was like, no, absolutely not. And me and the guy that I liked didn't do that with each other.
So there were alliances that you guys built. So you said something about boundaries. You said that you guys had to set up boundaries with each other, you know. Do you think that a girl and a guy can hold to these boundaries for a long period of time without having mixed relationship, like mixed feelings? Because I had guys as close buddies, you know, when I was younger. Like, it just happened that I liked guys as close friends more than girls. I only had one girlfriend. Later on, the guy admitted, yeah, I liked you at one point. Like, it's very, I don't think that there wasn't at least one guy that didn't like me at some point, even though I felt like everything was okay. How do you think you can properly do that where emotions or, you know, feelings, romantic feelings don't come up on either end? Is that possible?
I would say it most definitely is possible. I wish the stuff that I'm about to say now I did during that time, because again, I'm 18 now, and when this all happened, I was 14, 15, 16 years old. There was another person that I was also friends with that was a guy. His name was Justin, and great person, very funny, very like fun to hang out with. And he and I, from the first day we met each other and he came to our school, knew we were going to be friends, but it was like, we're going to be very cool about it. Like, there was nothing excessive that was going to happen. I wasn't excessively texting him. I never called him one-on-one. And he and I talked one-on-one, but it was more about serious stuff. We never talked anything about like our emotions or how another person made us feel.
So you would say that topics play a really big part.
Absolutely.
So so one of the boundaries that you would have is not just a physical boundary, but for this topic, I'm not going to go to a guy for.
Yes.
I would make sure to go to another girl or an adult.
Yeah. Okay. So with him, he didn't really like tell me much about like his family stuff, and I never expected him to. I had just met him at the time. Okay. But the more he and I got into our friendship, he would mention his family from time to time, like his mom and his siblings and stuff like that. But the main thing he would come to me about was about the girl he liked, because I was close with her. So it wasn't anything where he's exposing his feelings. Like, he's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to feel anything. It was more of like, hey, I know you know her better than I do. And I have no idea if she likes me. You don't need to tell me if she does. But how do you think I should go about it if she does like me? And if she doesn't, how do you think I should respond while keeping friends with her and not letting it hurt her or me? So it was more very mature talk.
Did he ever have a conversation with you that was like kind of wondering why you made a choice? Like, did he ever say, hey, you know, I know you said this, why'd you do that? Like, did he ever hold you accountable for some of the decisions that you made?
Yes. And I have no idea if he's watching this, but
hi, Justin.
I will say there was a lot of things he said to me that I listened to, but I wish I would have went through with it. Okay. There was something that the guy that I liked did to me at school, and I addressed him about it, like the guy. And I'm like, hey, I didn't like that you did that. Can we, when we both go home, can we find a time to call and just like talk it out, work it out? And he was ignoring me the whole time. And long story short, his dad is an atheist, doesn't like me. His dad came to pick him up from school, and as soon as his dad pulled into the driveway, I like said, hey, are we going to call later? And he just looks at me and like gives me a nasty look, and I forgot exactly what he said, but it was something very rude, very disrespectful, and he just left. And his dad is eyeing me in the face from the car, and I'm like, okay, well, that just made everything worse. So I go home upset. About 10 minutes later, I get a text from Justin saying, hey, I saw you walk home and you were crying, and I saw you talking to so-and-so. What happened? He didn't say, you don't have to tell me what happened. Are you okay? He just said, what happened? And I told him everything, and he made it clear. He's like, I'm going to be honest, like, I don't know why you like him. I don't know why you've been talking to him. He's been doing this to this person. He's been being disrespectful to some of the teachers there. And he's been saying a lot of stuff behind your back when you're not at youth group that is not okay. And I don't understand what it is that you see in him that we're not seeing. So, and he actually said, tell me what you see in him and what we don't see to get me to see like your perspective. And shortly after that, the guy that I like did something to me, and I'm like, I need to listen to Justin. But as I pulled away, the guy that I like did something emotionally abusive. And that's what made me feel like I really can't listen to Justin without someone else getting hurt.
One of the reasons why you loved Kyle was because, you know, he was someone you could go to. He was an adult, but he was someone who knew more, and he was willing to, like, you know, take off the hats and stuff like that. And, you know, but I know that Kyle also said things to you, like whenever you acted up, he was like, you shouldn't be doing that, Maria.
Yes.
Right. And now, you know, you talked about Justin, you know, and Justin had some boundaries that you guys shared. But it seems like true friendship is when you're doing something that you're not supposed to do and they're willing to say the hard thing. Do you feel that those in your age group appreciate friends that do those things? Because I feel like, you know, kind of walking you through those times, I feel like it's that friend that they may love them, but they don't go to them all the time. Like, they'll stop going to them, because I'm almost sure people who didn't agree with the guy that you liked, you didn't go to them and say, oh, let me tell you what they did, because you already knew that they didn't like him. They didn't like the way he acted. And sometimes we avoid the very thing we should be clinging to, like, and then we kind of cling to the things we should be letting go of. So with that being said, Ecclesiastes chapter 4, verses 9 through 12, it talks about how the closeness of friendship is what we should be seeking. 2 is better than 1. And it says, because they have a better reward. And then it goes on to say that a 3-cord strand is not easily broken. So even in the Bible, God talks about friendship, and he thinks that we should be with someone. You know, friendship is the thing that I believe, and relationship is the thing that God really uplifts. He sent out his disciples 2 by 2. He didn't send them out 1 by 1. He sent them out 2 by 2. He knew that Adam was alone. He says it's not good for man to be alone. So he ends up giving him someone else. Why do you think there is such a struggle with the young adults to find friendships like this?
1, because the other friend is normally the opposite sex. So it like makes it harder to hold each other accountable.
Did you find any of the girls that would give you the same kind of counsel as Justin would?
No, actually. And that's actually one of the things that I struggled with. And I can't remember who I said it to. It was one of our youth group leaders. I think it might have been Liz. That I'm like, hi, Liz. I think it might have been Liz, my godmom, and another person who I'm like, I want, like, Kalia and Nia and like a few of the other girls, like, I want to still keep the friendship I have with them. The thing is like the way that they all give advice is different. So with Kalia, she would like say, okay, I think we should do this. Maybe you should pray about this. Tell me how this is going after like you've done all this. And it was more gentle. With Nia, again, competitive, but like she is like, do it now kind of thing. So she called it out. She'd be like, well, this is what they did wrong, but this is what you did wrong too, Maria. So you really need to work on this. This person needs to work on this. So it was more like direct. And then I didn't really speak to any of the other girls about it because the other girls that I was friends with caused drama, caused gossip, like would take what I said, twist a little piece of it or leave out a piece of it and then tell everyone else. And eventually that's what led Kalia and Nia to come and talk to me about certain things. So I never had that female friend who held me accountable the way I would like. It was always Justin or Aiden who would do it. And because they were boys, I also had the mentality of I can't tell them everything because they're boys. So I don't want to give them the wrong idea. So I really felt like I had no one to go to. And that's what one of my struggles was, is I didn't have a Kyle. And again, Kalia, Nia, Justin, Aiden, great friends, but I couldn't tell them everything the way I was able to tell Kyle everything because of how different they all were.
How do you encourage people to be courageous enough to say the thing that the other friend doesn't want to hear? Because true friendship is not always saying what you want them to say. It's telling them the truth.
It may hurt what the other person will say to you. It might make you feel uncomfortable. It might make you feel like the other person really doesn't care. But if they're willing to tell you the hard parts that no one else has addressed to you, then it really does show that they want the best for you, that they want you to be better, that they want you to, I guess, not necessarily prosper, but they want to make sure you're okay. And if they didn't address you when they spotted you doing something wrong, then they, not that they don't care about you, but they don't care enough to help redirect you in the spot that you're supposed to be going to. Saved or unsaved, that's what a good friend does. Like, they'll tell you the hard parts no one else is willing to tell you.
So I guess what you're saying is the advice is that even if it's going to be hard, you would tell them, still go ahead and say the hard thing. You may lose the friendship for a period of time or maybe for a while, but it's better for you to lose the friendship because you said the right thing than for you to keep the friendship knowing that they're doing wrong and you're watching it happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Any like other follow-up questions or anything else that you want to say to them, like encourage them?
I think that this is a very tough age, and especially the time that we're living in. Finding true friendships sometimes is hard. I have always said this, not every friend is a lifer. Some friends are only there for a season, like they're only there. And if you make a seasonal friend a lifer, you're gonna get hurt. Sometimes you don't know who's a lifer until much, years later. They'll drop out of your life. There are some people, my friend Tabitha, I've known her since I was 6. And for a long period of time, we didn't talk. And then she came back around and we're friends again. So we're going on 40 something years of friendship. So you want to just make sure that you don't give up on every single friend. There just may be the season like, okay, they can't be with me during this journey. They can't be with me in the season because I'm supposed to walk this road alone. Or maybe, it's supposed to be someone else. Or maybe they're going through something that would make your journey really hard. So I think that you have to just be careful not to give someone a label or put them in a box that they're not meant to be in. If they're great for a season, enjoy them for the season and then lovingly let them go. But if they're lifers, you're going to have to invest and you're going to have to fight. But sometimes you don't even know which friends you're supposed to fight for. So I'd encourage you, invest in every relationship. Let it be natural and organic. And if you're drained and tired all the time, that's how you know, maybe this isn't the time for me to be friends with that person. But I do feel that youth and young adults have such a hard time during this season because you're going through transition. You're finding college, you're dating, maybe you're planning to get married, and you don't have someone who is at that same level because there's so many new things that are coming. You just graduated. You just got a job, you're looking to go to college, and then you're going to find someone, and then you're going to start dating. This is the most transitional that you're going to be going through. So it's unfair to say, how come I don't have any friends? Because you're always moving. This is a time you're always going to be moving, So the people that God puts into your life, enjoy them for what they are. Right now. And maybe they're just a person that you go out with for an hour, but maybe you can't tell them what you're going through. Maybe it's the person you're like, hey, I'm having a birthday, you want to come over? I'm having Friendsgiving, you want to come over. Enjoy them. Don't mourn them. So I think that would be great during the season, but it's a very transitional season. It's probably when you're in your 25s, 27s, that's when things start to slow down a little bit. And then you'll find a good friend.
That was a lot. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you guys have any additional questions, please leave them in the comments. And yeah, if there's anything that you thought was interesting, also please leave that in the comments. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit the notification bell. She's being very silly. And yeah, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. God bless, and we will see you next time.
Bye, Aiden. Bye, Justin. Bye, Nia. Bye, Kalia.
Bye, Liz.
Bye, Liz.